Call to order the City of Saugatuck City Council meeting for Monday, July 13th, 2026. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amy, will you call the roll?
Anderson,
Here.
Clark,
Here.
Dean,
Here.
Gardner,
Here.
Muncy, Peterson,
Here.
Stanton.
Here. I have texted, I have texted Gregory and he is not going to be able to make it. So, someone like to make a
Madam Mayor, I move that we excuse Councilmember Muncy from tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Motion carries. What takes us to the mayor's comments? It's just, it's a beautiful day in Saugatuck. I'm just, it's great to see people out having fun and the weather's been awesome and, we've got an amazing staff and things are humming along. I did, stay for the tour after our workshop, which was a blast. It really was fun. So got to see, just where the construction is. We got to see the plastic things that are forming a thing that will keep water away from Wendy's yard, which is really pretty cool. I mean, it's amazing that people can engineer that. And just hearing Peter and John talk about how all of this stuff works it was fascinating. So a perk of our job to get to see stuff like that. So that's really all I have. Ryan?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. To kind of add on to the Maple Street update, although your explanation is a little more simplified than mine, and actually maybe more understandable than some of the other terms. I can appreciate that. So I appreciate it.
I have been called Mayor Dum Dum. Maybe that's it.
No, not at all. So like I said, there's a lot of moving pieces, but we met last week for our kind of face-to-face update. Things are progressing well. Skipper says that we seem to be on track and on schedule, which is good. The water main, if it's not already done, is scheduled to be done and complete. At least the main part of the installation is scheduled to be complete. Obviously, going and connecting everybody behind it. Still going to take, quite some time, but I think they're hoping to have all of that done hopefully by the end of August. They want to kind of get all that underground work completed, but that's at least the aim. But at least the main part of the water main is in, which is good. As the mayor alluded to, that stormwater infrastructure work has started at Mason and Allegan. Still some tie-ins up to the main water main that need to be completed at Blue Star and at Allegan and some other locations, but all of that work is scheduled or coming up. Mail delivery has been a bit of a challenge. We've received some concerns on that. That's something that Michelle has been working very closely with Peter and the contractors. The contractors are supposed to maintain the route for mail delivery, although the mail folks are having some issues with some soft spots and getting to mailboxes and some frustration there. So if we're not able to get that consistency, I think we'll probably go to some of the original thoughts and plans was to do some mail bank boxes. So which kind of setting those up in a couple of different locations. Obviously not quite as convenient for the folks that are along the construction route, but at least would get them consistent mail and a central spot to go to get that and then help the mail folks out as well. So kind of a backup option if the mail delivery continues to be a challenge there. But folks have questions, they can reach out to Michelle, or there's more technical concerns about, particular piece of property or something like that, they're welcome to reach out to our engineers as well. We've been helping folks as those things have come up. It's a bit of an update on Oval Beach. And as you know, Frontier wasn't able to get their fiber installed out to Oval Beach in part because they weren't able to get the approvals from Consumers Energy to attach to their poles in that area, because at the time Consumers was looking to also underground some things. I've stayed in continuous contact with our government affairs rep, who's not actually with Verizon because Frontier is now under Verizon. So they're continuing to work on it. I think their preference is to not go underground with the fiber in the area because of the critical dunes permitting requirements, but they've re-engage with consumers, and they're now at this point where they're actually discussing some pricing on attaching to the poles or maybe doing something different with the poles. So there might be some options there. They're continuing to pursue that. And then obviously, once this fiber piece is taken care of, they're still interested in at least evaluating some small cell options out there as well. So all of that to say, well, I should add on, the other part of the conversation with internet out to Oval Beach that's been, I've looked into is talking with Comcast to find out what it would take for them to run service out to Oval Beach. In their case, they're willing to do it, but pass on all of that cost to us, including the construction cost that, to send it out there. So that would be kind of a 5-year, payment structure to pay that back, but it's not cheap. So I think Frontier is the better option at this point in getting good solid, fiber out there like they originally planned on. And then obviously the quotes that we have for the monthly service are just that. We don't have to pay the construction costs, but obviously if for whatever reason that doesn't work out, we can always, re-engage with Comcast and that sort of thing. In the meantime, obviously we had concerns with opening weekend and the lack of credit card options because of phone line issues. And so since then, we've gotten things connected to Starlink as kind of a backup option, but even Starlink can fail if you have power outages, as we experienced even last week. But before that even occurred, when we had the issues with opening weekend, Nikki, our treasurer, did a great job and finding out a kind of a backup option for us to utilize out there to add some redundancy. So she checked on Square and Clover, which Huntington works with Clover, got pricing and started a service with Clover that basically their system allows us to actually, collect credit card payments offline and then upload them when we have internet available. So we've used it. In fact, it's helped with some of the lines and things like that at certain points in time as well. And so that's helped a lot with issues that we've run into out there. And so I think we have some good redundancy and backup plans when we need them. I have a quick update in my report on our pension funding. Like many communities across the state, we're sitting in a very good position of being overfunded on our pension plans. In fact, last year we jumped from about 114% to 134%. So a variety of reasons for that. Obviously, there's actuarial changes. There's folks that were on the previous pension plan that passed. But then we've continued to pay excess funds to an associated surplus fund that we can apply if we run into a funding shortfall. So given our percentage and where we're at, Nikki and I have kind of discussed backing those payments off, not completely eliminating them. We still want to stay ahead of the game. Obviously, you could have market fluctuations and some of that's supposed to be smoothed out over time, but we think we're in a position to kind of cut that back a bit. Obviously, we can adjust if need be. If we're starting to see, the percentage decrease to a point where we're uncomfortable, we can increase again, or maybe we continue to see an overfunding and beyond a point where we need to be and then can back that off some more. So very fortunate to be in that position. Like I said, a lot of communities are in a catch up plus paying for costs today, and it's really, really impacting a lot of budgets across the state. So I think that's all I have for tonight, Mayor.
Great. Thanks. That takes us to agenda changes. Are there any wishes to change our agenda? All right. Guest speakers, we have none. So first public comment period, this is open to anyone who wants to address any of the topics on today's agenda. You have 3 minutes to speak. Doesn't look like there's anyone in the room. Anyone online wish to make a public comment? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Someone make a motion?
Yeah, Mayor, I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Any questions or? All right, it's a roll call vote.
Anderson.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Takes us to approval of accounts payable. Motion for that?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $779,910.61.
Second.
Any questions or comments on that before we vote? All right, roll call.
Anderson.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. No unfinished business, so moving to new business, 12A, the consent agreement for the fire department sewer connection and request to waive fees, which is on page 55 of our packet. I know we talked about this during the workshop, but any quick highlights or questions from anyone about that? It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, just maybe it's a quick update since your workshop meeting. The township had kind of requested some, figures as far as kind of maybe like a baseline amount to base these, capacity amount on. And I was able to we had to obtain water data to essentially, determine our sewer flow data. So we were able to get kind of a 12-month baseline for that, at least per month. And then essentially we're going to be counting the fire department sewer capacity at 20,000 gallons per month towards our available sewer treatment capacity in the plant. And then anything above 115% of that amount in the future would go towards the township's allocated sewer capacity in the treatment plant. So fire department is requesting waiver of fees still. So obviously you can waive those fees if you so choose, and that is part of the motion this evening. Other than that, though, the fire department will still be responsible for obtaining its necessary easement to connect, as well as, maintaining everything up to the actual public main itself.
Madam Mayor?
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the Saugatuck Fire District's request to connect to the city's sanitary sewer system via the Maple Street Sanitary Sewer Main, waive applicable connection fees and approve the consent agreement for sanitary sewer service.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, so roll call vote.
Anderson,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. New business B, the right-of-way permit application for 997 Elizabeth Street, which is on page 63 of our packet. I know Grayson talked to us about that at the workshop. Any further questions on that?
But just one, Mayor, and I apologize for having missed the discussion. The application says temporary fence until August, but I think further up it said April through November. Is
Correct.
there a change?
I think it is April through November. Is that correct, Grayson?
Okay. Okay.
So, the applicant had talked about removing the fence that is currently there. I drove by there. It's very tall. It looks taller in person than it did in the pictures. Is there a guarantee that they're going to do something that's more like landscape netting as opposed to something more permanent? I mean, not permanent. It was staked. How else do I say it? But more landscape netting as opposed to the staked out
Yeah,
fence.
he would have to remove the stakes completely because that would be classified as a fence currently, which is not permitted in the
Okay.
right of way. So the stakes would have to be removed, and essentially the wire bent over just to cover the landscaping. I'm not sure if a small stake would be needed to like keep that in place in the ground, but it certainly wouldn't be those 6 foot, 7 foot stakes that are currently there.
I feel like I need to see a picture of what they're actually going to put in. I don't,
I think my understanding is the intention is to use the existing material minus the stakes and then shape it in such a way to where it's a cover for the flowers so that the deer can't get to them. So it'll be kind of be, bent over the existing vegetation.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I drove by too today and it is a very tall fence and I'm looking at that material, trying to figure out how you could bend it over and it wouldn't look, that it would look not like jerry rigged or something. It's just the whole concept. I'm like Councilmember Stanton. I'd like to see a different rendering. I don't see how bending that, it's bent now in different places. I don't know how you could.
it's
turn it
pretty
down.
rigid. The
Yeah.
fencing is pretty
Yeah.
rigid.
Am I correct in that? That's the existing material, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was there any discussion at the workshop on the precedent that this might create? I mean, a number of us on the Hill have lilies of that type and, my wife is convinced that a deer slept in them last night. So, I'd value hearing from my colleagues here on kind of where you guys came down on.
I would just feel a lot better if it was just landscape netting, which is,
Or
I mean,
chicken
maybe they
wire
spent,
even.
maybe they spent a lot of money on that fencing and I understand, but I don't know that that's what we would want repurposed there. It just feels like there's a better option.
Yeah, after reflecting on it, because I kind of had the same thought, I just still a couple of questions in my mind of not only the aesthetics, but kind of, how this is going to play out. Part of me thought, would it be smart for us to kind of put a height limit on it and maybe a width limit or something? Grayson's smiling.
I did add,
You did?
add a height limit. I didn't necessarily add the width, but that's something that could be added in.
Because
I
if
think
it's
it's-
height and width,
Yeah.
limit, then you can't do some gigantic arc and, thing that looks like a greenhouse, which I think we all understand would be.
I believe I saw 3 foot in what, yeah.
And I chose 3 feet because
Missed it.
that's
Sorry.
the fence limit in the front yard. So it keeps a clear vision.
So, and it's going to curve up over the lilies.
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Yes, that's the plan.
Was there any, feedback from the neighbors about this?
The neighbors reached out that they were concerned about the fence and they wanted to make sure that it wasn't a safety hazard, but the fire department did go out there and take a look at it. and
Okay.
They had no concerns.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, and coming back to Councilmember Dean, there was, I think it was, Councilmember Stanton that brought it up about, are we setting a precedent by doing this into the right of way? And that's to me even a bigger question than the aesthetics. So, at this point, I'm struggling with it.
I guess, Mike, yeah. Thanks for building on that. I mean, the deer are a massive issue in this town, as we know. But I just forwarded the manager a note from Mr. Shippa, who's got a proposal for management in terms of the culling that we're budgeted for. But I have seen people try to armor against the deer. I think I've seen it in Douglas. Where they put huge plastic fencing around smaller trees, and I guess I just wonder what road we're going down if we create a precedent where you can. I'm assuming this is to try to armor against deer. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dean. One of the, and I walk by this property quite a bit with the dog, so I've had a lot of familiarity with the area. One of the things that I brought up to Mr. Nash, which I don't know if he answered, is that this fence, and it's a fence. I mean, despite his efforts to describe it elsewhere, it's a fence. It doesn't encompass the entire property. So in other words, the deer that I think are coming into his property, coming up from the preserve.
Yeah.
So it seems to me to be kind of a half measure for what he's trying to address. And again, my yard and everything that my wife has planted has been subject to, deer coming in. My aunt across the street, she's tried different methods. So I don't think there's any one which way to prevent this, but a fence, in my opinion, is not going to be something, I mean, zoning wise, it's not allowed. Two is that there's other different solutions that perhaps Mr. Nash could use if he's really concerned about certain plantings. I mean, we've had to adapt our plantings. There's things we don't plant anymore because of this issue. I understand his efforts here to try to protect his plantings, but from a zoning standpoint, I'm just not comfortable approving what he has proposed.
Madam Mayor, one other comment. When I drove by, it's a unique property because it's like you're looking off in the wilderness. And so I think if you put that though on a busier street, it's really going to stand out poorly, I think. But when you look down that road, all you see is the greenery and it just doesn't look that bad. But I think that's simply because of the location it's at.
Jamie, could you please scroll down just one page? Sorry, one more to the council considerations. I just want to make sure that that's the criteria that you guys are assessing it on. And so I would just reference that in any motion that you end up making, especially if it's a motion to deny.
Could we table it and have him come back? I mean, do you have enough to convey to him the concerns that we have? And say that we're, open to exploring something that is less fence-like and would be appropriate as a non-fence solution anywhere in the city.
Yeah, absolutely.
Russ?
Yeah, question on that. As I mentioned, we've got different things I've experienced in our yard and my aunt's across the street, and I've seen other people doing different solutions. This is the first time we've had this come to us as a request to put something like this in place. So if Mr. Nash were to come up with a different solution, why would he even have to come to us to discuss this? I mean, if he finds a way to be able to protect his
Yeah.
plantings, which I agree he should, that's
Fair
his
point.
property, take care of it. chances are he wouldn't have to come back here. There's other solutions available to him as opposed to this.
Yeah, I would say the mesh that you had mentioned on Wednesday, that wouldn't be something that would need to come back before you.
Yeah.
This came before you because in a sense, it would still be installed in the
advanced.
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he'd still need to secure it, even if he
Yeah.
was to bend it over. You'd have to find a way to make it so it doesn't collapse onto the.
Since we're moving relatively quickly at this meeting, it's not for this particular proposal or project. I will just say though, that this easement, this city easement, is of great interest to me. Because I share Councilman Gardner's desire to find ways to separate, pedestrians from cyclists. And when we were discussing other possible projects for the future, I did suggest considering connecting that easement as a bike trail into the old interurban trail, which would create a really effective way to address the shared concern of me and Councilmember Gardner of bicycles coming down the hill on Holland Street. Apparently, I just flagged it just for the council's knowledge when you were asking for other things, Mayor. I know the engineer looked at it and said that the full length of the interurban trail, would be probably a pretty big bite, to try to incorporate into like the Maple Street work, because you just can't throw pavement down. There's more to work there, but I believe there is a real opportunity there of that fairly short easement from Elizabeth Street down to Simonson. And it really creates a way that you could go from the township's bike trail and bypass that particularly dangerous stretch of Holland Street. So this area is of great interest to me, and I would want to be sure that whatever we do, we are protecting that easement, because I think it's a huge opportunity for us down the road. But I don't want to throw people off their project list, but I continue to think that's a solution that's quite compelling for the bicycle issue. So,
Russ and Grayson can take that back to planning as they're doing the master plan and looking at mobility solutions to be sure that that's in.
I just think it could be a really interesting way to make it a safer way for bicycles, pedestrians to interact as they go from that transition where the trail ends into downtown. So, yeah. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Russ.
Again, a trail that I use quite a bit too, and you see bikes on there, but the thing is that people, unless they know about it, they're not directed to it.
Right.
So that's to your point, is that if it were made, there's some kind of direction to it, you could get people to use that, but again, we're not quite there yet. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great concept, something to certainly discuss, but it does get used. I see mountain bikes on there. I've seen a couple kids on e-bikes going through there,
Yeah.
kind of screaming through there.
What I'm particularly interested,
But, so,
yeah, just to be clear, that what I'm particularly interested in is where it dead ends.
yeah,
There is still an easement that goes into kind of almost right into Simonson.
Yep.
So, because that also eliminates the issue of going up and down the hill on North Street. It makes it more of a natural, you get off the trail, you basically go just less than a block onto Elizabeth, and then you could potentially, with a fairly short, I think about maybe a less than 100-yard connection, find yourself on Simonson Street and then be out of the main thoroughfares.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring us back to.
Yeah, apologies, Mayor.
Yeah, that's okay.
bring it-
So,
One thing that just is worth mentioning with any of these temporary right of way installations is that they're approved, doesn't mean that they're there forever,
Okay.
right? I mean, so
Good point.
the language is, there's language in the ordinance as well as obviously in your approvals that if there's an improvement that needs to be made to the right of way that can go away in the future, so.
Something to build on Ryan's comment. I'm hearing a lot of talk about, what kind of precedent does this set from a legal standpoint? One of the considerations that you're allowed to look into is how the proposed installation aligns with the surrounding area. And so all of these requests are going to be very fact specific. They're dependent on exactly what is proposed to be installed, and they're dependent on the specific location. So just because you approve this does not mean that you're on the hook for this exact kind of installation throughout the city. All of it is fact specific, provided that you have good reasons for approving or denying each request as it comes.
all right, So should we deny, I mean, it sounds like people don't approve this. We could deny this, but ask Grayson to communicate with the owner that he can certainly do another solution that is in keeping with our ordinances, or if he can come back to us with something that's less obtrusive. Does that work for everybody?
Less fence-like.
Pardon?
Less fence-like.
Yes, less fence-like. And are we comfortable that based on what Grayson has provided us, is a good solution? The considerations?
Meaning that guideline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we get a motion?
I'll make a motion to, where are we? To deny the request based upon the review criteria established in 94.34H.
Second.
Any further discussion before we vote? All right, it's a roll call vote.
Anderson,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, that takes us to the staff reports, which begin on page 71. Any questions or comments on either city manager, treasurer, clerk, planning and zoning, or sheriff?
Madam Mayor. I just have one question with the police report. What is general assist mean? Because they're all different things that they go for, but there were a lot of just plain general assist.
I think some of that's locking up things and
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-all kind of category of what our deputy maybe describe how that is used if you're all right with it, Mayor.
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, come to the podium.
The general public assists are, when people some basic questions that don't fit into the other categories of crimes, like no crimes committed, they just have a question about, did they park at this location, is that okay, or anything like that. Is there a specific?
No, I just wondered, there were a lot of them and I just wondered what it was. I didn't know if it was assisting in other areas like over in Douglas or it's just here.
No, so if it's in the city, sorry about city area, then it's the general
Yeah.
assist that we handle within the city. So.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a question for Mark or for the city manager, but I had a resident approach me last week. They tried to go to Opal Beach early in the morning for a early morning hike, and the gates were closed, and there's several cars that were trying to get in the beach and turned around and left. So I was asked at what time are the gates open for people to be able to go into the beach, just a early morning walk. I don't know if we have an immediate answer, but just would like to get some clarification.
What time were they there?
Probably 7. Okay. 7-ish, something like that.
Sign says 8. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's 8 AM to 10 PM are the official open hours.
Okay.
So.
Okay, but the gate should be open at 8 and,
Mhm.
okay, all right. Also too, I'll make other comments under council, so thank you.
All right, anything else? Okay, well, I think that takes us to the second public comment period. And this can be about anything at all. No one in the room, anyone online wish to make a public comment? All right, we had correspondence, we got a letter from Megan Cotton about Elizabeth Street and board and vacancy notice. So that takes us to council comments. Lauren.
We met another time with the branding and logo committee. We need more time. So we're gonna spend a little bit more time with it, refocus. So it's gonna be just a little bit more time. We're meeting this week, so. And other than that, everybody's been really busy in town with the businesses. It's hot. Drink lots of water, get some shade.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be a busy week for all of our businesses here in town as we are sandwiched in between 4th of July and Venetian.
Yeah,
Coming up quick.
great. Scott?
Well, nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Joe?
Nothing other than, it was a great 4th of July,
Mhm.
great parade. Just wanted to make sure that we recognize the first responders, the staff, all the volunteers and all the participants that help, make not only the parade a great event, but also the whole weekend was just phenomenal. So again, pass it on to the staff because, you know, they carried a lot of it on their shoulders.
They had a lot. Thank you. Yes.
Russ?
Yeah, I think I'll echo Councilmember Clark's comments about the Fourth of July parade. It was fun always to be up on top of the truck. You get a different sense of the community from up there for sure. So heard some interesting people making comments on the way down. It was fun. I did receive some compliments about the post-parade events at the gazebo. There was, I believe the city's purchased some cornhole units, I believe, but then there were some other things going on at the gazebo that, were fun. And so someone just said, whoever's doing this, pass it along. And I said, I would certainly pass that along. So it's noticed and there was a lot of fun being had. So
Because your CVB folks, so I'll make sure and pass along that note
Yeah,
to them
please
this
do.
Thursday when I meet with them. Yeah.
yeah, please do. It was noticed. Thank you.
I only have a personal comment. Yesterday, Ernie and I celebrated our 52nd wedding.
Oh,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
That's awesome.
We got married when we were 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, two little lovebirds. Love it. Congratulations. They both married well. I will add, thanks for all of the people making the city run, especially staff. Also the volunteers. I have noticed, both Ashley and April really having to beat the drum loudly for volunteers. And so, if we can encourage our friends, even for like the 4th of July parade, I was able to, leave my car in an intersection, give somebody my keys, hoof back after the parade. But the more we can encourage people to help, and then when you're with the CVB, thank them for all they do, and especially April, she's a gem. And that's it for me. Who would like to make a motion to adjourn at 7:02?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say. It might be. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Ryan